All right, we just received some big news from Project 79 today about how they're changing their structure. But first, if you're not familiar with Project 79, Project 79 is a crypto project where they are working on mining gold and selling it, and then taking those profits and redistributing them to the investors and individuals that have sacrificed on their platform. So just to give you a quick high-level overview of what they do today, Project 79, if you go into their dashboard, you can see that they have about almost $9 million locked in the platform. And you go over here, you can choose the amount you want to sacrifice. They only open this sacrifice period once a month because due to logistics of kind of buying and procuring the gold and running the operation, they can only do this, a certain number of times, throughout the year. And so they usually open it, at the end of the month. So you basically sacrifice your amount. That gets locked up for 6 months in the current system, and they go ahead and do their mining operation, which you can actually see a history of what they've done on the main page here. So you can see the shipment number. So for example, on number 6, it got cleared and it's been processed. Shipment number 11, it's arrived at customs and it's waiting to clear. Shipment 10, it's landed in Dubai and they're processing it. So you can kind of see, where all the shipments stand and what their status is. After they receive the gold, they, in essence, have the opportunity to put it onto the market where they can sell it and then, receive a, profit from the overall operation. And you can see, historically in September, they made 6.8%, October 6.4, November 6.5. So that they've been doing quite well on the past few months. Um, Once the month ends, you take the 6.5% and it will show up here as your available amount to withdraw or compound. And then, so say, I have 3,000, get, 6% of that. I can compound that. And then next month, I'll get 6% of the new compounded amount and so on and so forth. Or I can withdraw that amount. So the earnings that you get, that 6% is not locked up, but your initial sacrifice, in this case, the 2,900, is locked up for 6 months. And again, they do that to kind of stabilize the price so people aren't depositing and then quickly removing, and they don't have enough money to run their operations. Um, and again, that's how it works today. But they just announced that they're going to change the process and update their project. So I'm going to go over their update now. Okay, so this white paper can actually be found on their main website. If you go to the Litepaper, they've updated their previous one with this new one with this new alpha information. So let's get to it. There is a risk statement that any of this information can change, and then they don't guarantee profit. They really are trying to be careful on legal terms. Even when you enter value into this contract, it's called a sacrifice. And while technically you're not sacrificing your dollar amount, it is getting locked up, and you could potentially lose it, right? Imagine if I don't know, the gold was stolen, right? Then you kind of can lose your money, so to speak. So just kind of do your research, make sure that you are comfortable, with any kind of financial investment. Again, this is not financial advice. This is for education purposes. But whenever you want to put money into a project, just make sure that you do your research and you're okay with losing it potentially. They talk a little bit about the gold history and reserves and whatnot. I won't kind of go over this in detail, but gold has been a store of value for a long time. I don't see anybody stopping that anytime soon. So they're kind of talking about that today. They do kind of go through Dubai, so I think they mine gold in Africa and various kind of locations, send it over through to Dubai for processing and whatnot. And they kind of talk about why that is. So giving a bit of a background on their project. Um, so talk about the evolution here. So everything I just told you about kind of going to the project, sacrificing it, and things like that. That's what they speak about here. They have partnered with a gold mining operation to do this. And so they have a full team, right? So they have a team that is mining the gold, a team that is securing the shipments as it gets transferred to Dubai, a team that's processing it, etc. So they really are operating as a normal company. This is not, some kind of cheap, DeFi project. It's an actual business. Okay. So what is changing in their system? Well, the main thing is that they're switching from this sacrifice model to a gold pegged token. Okay. So in essence, this in this case $3,000 amount that I have sacrificed will get converted to a representation of the gold that they own, right? And I'll talk about that a little bit, further on. You can take that token that's pegged to the gold, and you can redeem it for stable coins. So kind of cash out, so to speak, to BUSD, USDC, USDT. You can hold it for appreciation. If you think the gold is going to go up, you can hold it. And the kind of cool part about this also is you can also redeem it for physical gold. They can ship you gold bullions if you're interested in doing that. Um, and so they're going to release a white paper about this whole process on early Q1 of next year, but they're just kind of giving you some information about where the team is headed. Then really, this is the really kind of critical part right now, is that if you're already in the system, so if you've sacrificed through their past 3 months of being in business, they're going to give an additional 20% equity increase as sort of a thank you for kind of investing in them, getting them off the ground, getting them up to this, was it almost $9 million, locked. And if you sacrifice this month, which is going to be from December 29th, which is tomorrow, until January 6th, you also receive that additional 20%. So if you want to get into this project, I would say do it now because you can get that additional 20%. And then after that, they're not taking new deposits. So you can only enter the project again when they're ready to do the token pre-sale. So I imagine, again, it says release yet, but I imagine they'll convert everybody that's already existing into tokens and then do a pre-sale for everybody else. And then from that point, I think they're going to lock the amount. I'm kind of curious if they're going to have a cap on the total number of tokens and then it just appreciates, so it's deflationary, or if they'll allow minting. I'm guessing it's going to be deflationary, but we'll find out as we get further along in this project. And then those tokens, once you get them, you can sell them on a secondary market, so an exchange, so to speak. The other thing is they're increasing transparency, right? So they, I think they've seen other projects fail, and they want to make sure that everybody's kind of aware of what's involved. And previously they've had a lot of you've had to sign an NDA to get additional information, and they've had sacrifice type periods and whatnot. And so what they really are going to do is they're going to release names about the companies that they're working with, the mining and precious metal licenses, and their mining partners, right? So it's not going to be kind of behind the scenes anymore. They're going to be upfront about this. There's going to be almost like a regulated type company. And so again, when you own the token, you have direct tangible ownership in the rights to the mining operation, and it's secured, under legal um, contracts. And they have a full team that is kind of running the legalities of it. In addition, they're hooking up with Chainlink's proof of reserve. So if you're not familiar with that project, basically Chainlink will integrate with their monitoring their bank accounts, their crypto reserves, and the amount of gold owned, and they're going to display that information on their site. And again, Chainlink is a third party, so it's a third party verifying this information, which increases accountability and security. And so you can find out at any given time what the status is of the project. And again, they're changing this whole sacrifice type model to having actual ownership, asset-backed ownership in the company. A little bit more about the token. So they're working with Block Square to create the token and the infrastructure and legal framework. So again, these are all legally binding tokens, right? It's not just some magic token that says, "Hey, you have rights to something," just because you have a technological smart contract. These are actual legal contracts. So as you can imagine, there's going to be additional requirements with this. There's gonna have to be KYC and things like that because you are owning an actual asset. Think about if you own a security that backs to gold. Same type thing, except this is on the blockchain as opposed to running on the stock market or wherever else you're getting that ownership. So the token, the tokenomics aren't necessarily changing that much. You're still receiving profits from the mining operation, which again get distributed based on the number of tokens you hold. So if they make $1 million in a month and you have 1 million tokens, everybody gets $1 kind of thing. It's like a fractional ownership, or $1 per token, I should say. But the interesting thing is that the value of the tokens will increase if gold rises. So they have an amount of gold sitting in vaults and in reserves. And you can imagine if the price of gold increases, the value of your token then as a result increases. So that will be important. Another big factor here is that there are 0 lockup periods. So previously there was 6 months lockup when you sacrificed in the old app. Now there's going to be 0, and then also the option to sell on a peer-to-peer marketplace. I'm curious if this is going to be built into the Project 79 site, or if they're going to go with a third party. I'm guessing it's going to be in the site itself, but we'll find out about that a little bit more because they do say a secondary market. As mentioned, there will be a KYC. So the gold token is back to physical gold. And so if you're kind of familiar with how gold works, it's actually backing to a 1 fine troy ounce of gold is back to the token. The gold stored in a professional vault. This is on the Ethereum blockchain, but they're going to expand to be multi-chain. That's their whole goal. And really, this is a great, another form of a stable coin of sorts, right? So like you think about, USDC and USDT and whatnot, they and BUSD, they're in essence mapping a token to a US dollar directly. This is mapping it to gold. So it's in essence a security, right? So again, the details will be launched on Q1. And then, they kind of put a note here alluding to some additional details. So because they've gotten these mining operations and kind of gotten through the legalities and the hoops of starting up this first company there, they have more opportunities in Africa as a result. So I imagine that they'll start doing more work there. And they're also, from the social good side, looking to help contribute to maintenance of schools, housing, and medical centers in Africa. So really trying to help out, the community that they're working with, not just going and mining the gold and leaving and kind of leaving the local community in a bad position. So really, great project. Project 79, if you're not aware, the team that runs this project also runs Hydro Whales. As another example, Hydro Whales is a mining operation that uses hydroelectric power to mine cryptocurrency. So really low cost energy to mine crypto for proof of work type coins. They also own the company Ocean Money that is looking at creating a crypto bank, so to speak. There's more details about that. I'll probably do a video on that as that gets more public and more details about it. But definitely check out Project 79. I'll put some links in the description so you can kind of get involved. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Look forward to hearing from you.